Good morning. It's a rainy Friday here in New York City, but TGIF. Okay, based on recent legal actions and the unsealing of an Amazon search warrant, is it reasonable to deduce there is in fact a, quote, lack of sufficient evidence as per Ann Taylor's recent motion to dismiss? I've got all the details, so let's jump right into it. Before we get into the details of the science and the legalese, I believe it's important to clarify the two types of evidence, direct and circumstantial. Direct evidence is evidence of a fact based on a witness' personal knowledge on observation of that fact. For instance, if I'm at a bank making a deposit and a person comes in with a gun to commit a robbery, and I see that person hold the gun up to the teller next to me and demand money, my account as a witness is direct evidence that individual committed that crime. It's as simple as that. Circumstantial evidence is the opposite of direct evidence. It cannot prove a material fact by itself. Rather, it is the evidence that tends to prove a material fact when considered together with other evidence and by drawing inference. So it is the totality of the evidence a prosecutor can pull together, and it's up to a set of fair and impartial jurors to weigh that totality and determine if an individual committed a crime beyond a reasonable doubt. So let's get into it. The PCA is 100% circumstantial evidence. There exists no direct evidence to date to prove Mr. Brian Kohberger was inside that King Road home, as alleged by the PCA, committing those crimes. Dylan was only able to provide a description of a figure, quote, clad in black with bushy eyebrows, but was never able to identify Brian. As a footnote, was a lineup ever conducted where Dylan could point out the suspect? So again, if no direct evidence exists, it's up to the prosecutors and investigators to continue to collect circumstantial evidence to build up the case and for the jurors to weigh that totality of the evidence against Mr. Kohberger to issue a verdict. Just yesterday, we learned more about a blizzard of search warrants issued by the state, including a search warrant to Amazon on, quote, all detailed customer click activity pertaining to a specific type of weapon and accessories. So the state was basically looking for receipts, like literally. There were also search warrants to Google and Reddit. Again, more circumstantial evidence in the hopes of building up the case, but nothing was confirmed. But the most intriguing and compelling information I was able to deduce from these legal actions is that a whopping 6 full months had passed since the arrest of Mr. Kohberger, and the state was literally reaching for a receipt. 6 full months had passed, which was plenty of time to collect, test, and analyze the full spectrum of the DNA from such a bloody and horrific crime. If compelling forensics of either the home and car had already existed, would the state really be reaching for a receipt 6 months later? Then, just a couple weeks later, J. Weston Logsdon filing a bombshell legal document on behalf of Mr. Kohberger, stating, quote, there is no connection between Mr. Kohberger and the victims, and, quote, a total lack of victim DNA in Mr. Kohberger's car. In August, the defense drops another Hiroshima bomb on this case, a motion to dismiss with allegations including, quote, prosecutorial misconduct by withholding exculpatory evidence and, quote, lack of sufficient evidence. Would Ann Taylor perjure herself and file this motion to dismiss if the state had very compelling forensics, blood, spit, hair, skin, inside that King Road home or in Mr. Kohberger's car? Talk to me.